Wow. Wow. I was trying to figure out if I should do a video or not. Trying to regain my voice. Excited because it's the playoffs. But the Sixers left off right where they ended, really, towards the end of the regular season. Lethargic, crawling, not moving. That was one of the worst played games I've ever seen. It didn't even look like they deserved to be in the playoffs. Thank God for Jimmy Butler's heroics and having a huge game for us, because he's the only one that played well. The rest of our starters didn't do jack squat. Embiid should have just sat. I think he hurt us more than he helped us. You know? I mean, awful. Ben Simmons was nowhere to be found. He hurts us so much offensively. It's like, without you, one, being aggressive, and two, not being able to shoot the basketball or daring to shoot the basketball, it's not like having a player out there. You might as well just go 5 on 4. And it amazes me that all game Brett Brown chooses to leave our two worst defenders on their two best offensive players in their guards, in Dinwiddie and in D'Lo, who didn't have a great game in the first half. He just ignited in the second half because he had T.J. McConnell on him. Why is Ben Simmons not on him? Brett? What are you doing, Brett? Where was the offensive sets called? Nothing. We didn't do anything different. This is exactly what I thought was going to happen with Brett Brown. You know, we tried to do the dribble handoff bullshit. There was no movement of the basketball. They looked lethargic. They looked lazy. They looked tired on defense. I mean, you had 3 guys on Brooklyn's bench come up with 20 points or more. It was just a joke. We got no bench production, and we're going to lean heavily on our starters. Tobias Harris had 4 points. He looked terrible. Again, Ben Simmons had 9 points, but problem is, Tobias only had 7 shots. He's not going to get in the flow in anything if you don't draw any plays up for him, and he's only getting 7 shots. Ben only had 9 points. He took 9 field goals. We missed 13 free throws. Crucial points that you need when you're trying to claw back into a game. You know, they were getting the dribble penetration by their 2 guards, especially with their pick and roll, which is huge. And they were kicking it out for wide open threes. Caris LeVert roasted us tonight. Roasted us. Joe Harris, although he didn't have an overall great offensive game, he played some pretty hard defense, and he ended up with 13 points. He hit 3 out of 4 free throws, or 3-pointers, I believe. It's just there was our biggest issue last year in the playoffs was offensive and defensive around the perimeter. Well, we shot 3 of 25 from downtown, so that didn't save us. 12% from downtown. The Nets were able to hit 11. They just look like the hungrier team. They look like a better team. And to make adjustments, we did not do. Brett Brown did not do. The players didn't make adjustments. We look like shit. And this is why you don't want to play the way the Sixers did going into the playoffs. You know, everybody can say those games didn't mean anything. Well, they kind of do when you're trying to get amped up for the playoffs and you want to be playing good basketball going into there. Well, this is the team I saw towards the last 2 weeks of the season. And they look like shit. Brett Brown's going to be signing his ticket. I don't know why everybody was writing the Sixers into the second round. Now, am I going to jump ship and be too worried? No. They did take it in our home court. I expect them to win 1 game. But this is where, being the playoffs, you know, you got 7 games to figure out your opponent, figure out what your issues are, and you got to fix them. And I like that we were going right at Jared Allen the entire time. We got him in early foul trouble, but JJ got into early foul trouble, wasn't able to get into a flow of things, and we got to rely heavily on him. But it's just amazing that we continue to play down to competition. I know. They have been playing like this for the past 2 weeks. I agree. I just said that. It's crazy, bro. It's a disgrace. We should not be losing to a team that eked into the play. They're only 2 games over 500. Okay? They've got a good coach. They play hard, but they're not overly talented. Any guard that plays against us, through the entire season that's happened, they look like a Hall of Famer. They literally do one dribble and they get right to the basket. It's like there's no resistance whatsoever. There's no defense being played. And again, it's because Brett refuses to switch up the defense. You know, that's Monty Williams' job now. Or no, yeah, Monty Williams is the defense. But everything is still oversaw by Brett. Why are we waiting till a minute 47 left to press when we were only down 11 at that point? You would want to, go over, rush them. Hopefully they stumble and you get back into it. But it was just they were so lackadaisical. It's like they didn't even care. There was no urgency. And again, I just think because ever since this team was assembled, they just expected to win games. You look great on paper, but there's a reason you have to play these games. And they came in hungrier. They had a chip on their shoulder. They're going to want to knock you off. Everybody hears what was being talked about the Sixers. They got the second best starting five in the league next to Golden State. They're picked to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, good. Because that team didn't look like it was even going to make it out of the first round. At all. We got to make our adjustments. We have to change our style of play. Stupid turnovers at inopportune times. Poor offensive play calling. No perimeter defense. The dribble penetration by the Nets. This should have been the focus the past couple days when we found out who our team was going to be. But it's been an issue all year with the guards being able to get beat off dribble and get to the 10. Joel Embiid can only do so much. But when you're putting that much pressure on the guy who's got a busted up knee, as is, it's too much. And that is up to the coaching staff to be able to change anything. They look like shit. They need to change a lot. Again, thank God for Jimmy. If he didn't go off for 36 tonight, we would have been today, we would have been easily down 25, and we wouldn't have been digging ourselves out of this hole. JoJo had an okay game, but I think he played awful. I think he had 21 points. He had a double-double, but still. It was Jimmy Butler that had us in this game the entire time. We got absolutely no production from the bench. We got 13 from Boban, but you need guys like Mike Scott to be coming up bigger and knocking down their shots. Now, I think he brought some grit when we were able to claw back into this game because of some of the defense he was bringing. But can anybody answer me this question? Why is Jonathan Simmons getting any playing time? Why is he even in the rotation? Where the hell was Jonah Bolden at? Like, Brett comes out and said it's going to be an 8-man rotation, yet it's like, it looks like a line change in hockey where you've got 4 guys coming out, 4 guys coming in. Where was Zaire Smith? I much would have rather had him out there than freaking Jonathan Simmons. The dude is a scrub. I had no idea why. How many minutes did he get tonight? Like 16? And again, with TJ on D'Angelo Russell, what the hell, Brett? And then JJ being on Dinwiddie. Why? You want to put Ben Simmons, who's a really good defender, on a guy that's going to be able to penetrate and is one of your biggest weaknesses. But we'll have him sitting off here coasting, just like he is on offense. I saw one good play from Ben tonight, and that was that block in the corner on DeMari Carroll, I believe it was. But he looked horrendous. And his inability to not want to take a shot, not be aggressive, is what's killing us the most. It kills the offensive flow. And that's Brett's liberty of making him become a point guard. I don't think Ben Simmons is a point guard, but I'm not throwing all this on Ben, but he's a huge problem at this moment. Huge. You don't have Tobias, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think you should move Tobias Harris to the bench. Have him come off the bench, have that punch coming off the bench. Because, look, what they have in Brooklyn. You've got Karras coming off the bench. You got Dinwiddie coming off the bench. Nori Carroll could score it. But those guys can light it up any which way. Damian Gundy, he won't stand for this bullshit. I honestly, since Alvin Gentry got fired, I would heavily go after him. Definitely. It's not all Brett, but a lot of it is Brett not being able to make in-game adjustments. Yeah, but see, Sean, if you do bring JJ off the bench, he really can't create for himself. He's going to have somebody create for him. And I don't think anybody off the bench can do that for him. That's why he's best. Yeah, he's a defensive liability, but Brett should be able to hide his inefficiencies with the lineup that we have and mask his inefficiencies on the defensive end. That's fine. I want Monty Williams gone. You know, you got Alvin Gentry out there, Dave Yorger. I would love to have both of those guys on the coaching staff. I would honestly put Jimmy. You know, that's the other issue. It's not like we have a lot of options at point guard. I get that. He's just, I don't think flirting with the idea of Ben running the point. I'm not saying we shouldn't play him at the point. I just don't know if he's going to ever be a point guard. With him not being aggressive and him not being able to shoot, again, I'm not throwing this all on Ben. But you've seen him in a half-court set. He struggles because he picks up his dribble. You want to be a point guard. You want to keep that dribble alive. Try to find something. But when he picks up his dribble and nobody's moving around, it hurts the offense, and it's like shooting yourself in the foot. You're aiding the defense by doing that. I would like to see Ben go down more on the post. You know, set a screen or come back door. Do something other than just... He's great in transition. He is. When he gets ahead of steam, there's nobody that can stop him. But we don't really run an up-tempo offense. So a lot of our stuff comes from trying to get it to JoJo on the block. And it hurts Ben because, one, he's still learning how to be a point guard. He's not going to shoot the ball ever. So you're not helping him develop. And I blame the coaching staff for that. You know, it's not all on Ben. And I said it before, I think Brett Brown is going to stunt his growth. He's going to stunt Ben's growth. Now, with the new coach that comes in here, because honestly, I don't see Brett Brown making it out of this playoff run wherever we do end up going. Brett Brown shouldn't be the coach, period. I know, that's what I've been saying, Philly 024. I think Tobias is so out of sync, he would benefit from coming off the bench. He can create his own shot. He would be that punch off the bench. I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. Remember when Greg Popovich had the gonads, had the balls to take Manu Ginobili and stick him on the bench? Was he happy with it? Of course not. Now I'm talking Manu. He was probably pissed because he could have started for any team in this league for the amount of years that he played. But it was beneficial to the team, and it helped the bench out tremendously with him being able to create his own shot, take point, and take the ball up, and I think that's what the Sixers need to do. But Brett Brown's too much of a bitch. These players walk all over him. He has no respect. Did you see, while I was down at the game, I saw there was something that popped up in the internet saying JoJo was playing on his phone in the fourth quarter when they were getting smoked out like that. And that just shows me that these players walk all over Brett. They have no respect. I've seen Ben Simmons, when Brett was trying to draw up a play, push the clipboard out of his way like he wasn't paying attention to him. They have no respect for the guy. He's a bitch. He's a doormat. You know, that's only going to get you so far. You need to have a coach that's going to hold these players accountable for whatever they do. Bench them. I don't care who you think you are, what kind of prospect you are. He's done it to Tim Duncan. He's put Tony Parker in his place. Popovich. And it amazes me because how could you come... You're not cut from the same cloth that Popovich was. You know, the only reason you got a job was because of Popovich. Because you came from that system. We wanted to instill that Spurs system here in Philadelphia. And I have yet to see an inkling of Spurs basketball being played under Brett Brown. What up, Cowboys X Factor? You know, it sucks. It's just a bad matchup for the Sixers. But Yorger or Alvin Gentry, I'd love to have both of them on the team. Yeah, I would love Dave Yorger on this team, Eric. Absolutely. Alvin Gentry's my top guy, honestly. That is who I would pursue. Yeah, Brett Brown does need a contract extension. Womp. I hope you're being sarcastic. Because the dude's a joke. Can't make in-game adjustments. He doesn't know how to draw up any offensive plays. It's like everything comes off the fly. Yeah, he did. It's a shame. It was wasted. Jimmy's Butler's performance was wasted tonight. You know? And I know JoJo probably pushed himself to play, but he just did not look himself out there. He did not look healthy. He should have just sat. I would have played Zaire over Jonathan Simmons too. I have no idea why Jonathan Simmons is getting any playing time. The dude barely played during the regular season. Now all of a sudden you're going to give him big minutes during an important series? Sean, I said last night that I saw it being 5-1, or we would take the, not 5-1, we would take the series in 5. So I thought they would, I didn't think they would take the first game. I said it last night. I think the Sixers should have came out here with an intensity. You're being at home. You got the energy from the fans. That you should have made a statement and put your foot to the throttle, put your foot on their throat, and take them out. Because that would have carried over to Monday's game and then even into Brooklyn. Now you've just given them huge expectations. You've given them all the confidence in the world, knowing that they can mess with the Sixers, knowing that the Sixers are now in a bad spot. They're in a pinch. So we had knocked them off that pedestal. But right now, they have all the confidence in the world. They had the chip on their shoulder as is. Getting into the playoffs and everything that they've gone through, they're calling out Sixers players left and right. Freaking fat doughboy Jared Dudley, who looks like he needs to eat 5 more Holo-Hos, needs to shut his freaking mouth. I can't stand that dude. Cannot stand him. He looks like a Muppet. Fat piece of shit just sitting there talking smack. I wish somebody would have ran him right over. And then he flopped when Mike Scott fouled him. You know, trying to get a flagrant foul on that crap. The Sixers need to be physical with this team. Because that is what Kenny Atkinson is instilling in his players right now. Physical basketball. And the Sixers struggle with physical basketball because they're soft. They are. JoJo's soft and so has Ben. And that all starts from the top. Still think we win because I feel confident JJ and Tobias will shoot better. I hope so. I just think Tobias is just out of sync in this offense. A move needs to be made, and I would love to see to get some punch off that bench because you need a good bench. You need a deep bench going into the playoffs, and we do not have that, regardless of our starting 5. But he looks lost completely with those other 4 out there. And then you have Ben Simmons' struggles where he's not going to shoot the basketball to keep the defense honest. And he doesn't play great in a half-court set. This isn't the time to kind of flirt around and figure out your game. You know, and I'm blaming Brett Brown for this, to have Ben Simmons try to figure this out on the fly when you're in the playoffs. Okay? Have him go down on the block. He looked great a couple times this year when he was down on the block. He's improved his post-game tremendously. Get Ben Simmons down there. Use his 6'10" height advantage and his weight is to be able to get some easy buckets. Because he just looked completely lost. They're doing what the Celtics did last year, and they're just jamming the middle. And we're helping them out so much by having Ben run the half-court set. No. Have Jimmy run the half-court set. Switch it up. It's always good to have multiple ball handlers. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if we go out and try to add another ball handler. They tried to do it with Markelle. I don't think it was the worst idea. If Markelle would have stayed healthy and that whole situation didn't play out the way it did, you always want to have multiple ball handlers on your team. Look at the Warriors. I'm not going to trade Ben because, again, it's not his fault. I still think he could be a tremendous player with the right coach. It's just he's in his second year, so that's what we got to remember. If college rules were the way they were and guys didn't just do this one and done shit, he'd be in his second year if he went to 4 years of college. So there's still a little bit of a learning curve with Ben. It's still going to take some time. It's just getting to get that switch to turn in his head to be aggressive and split the double team and use your big body to your advantage like LeBron does. Take it up strong. Go up and dunk. Get fouled. Do like AI did. The dude was 150 soaking wet, but he never shied away from contact. Ben Simmons shies away from contact. And he's 6'10", 240 pounds. That should not be. No, trading Fultz wasn't a mistake. That needed to happen. Don't trade Ben, but he definitely has to improve. And if he's going to be ineffective on the offensive end, make him affect the game defensively because he's a good defender. Put him on D'Lo or Dinwiddie. Put guys that are going to hurt us with their dribble penetration and the pick and roll, because they're going to pick on JJ and TJ all day long. Why would they change up their game plan? That's a That's a smart point of attack by the Nets coaching staff. And everything just seems forced and on the fly with us. Nothing seems drawn out. It's just like you're out there. It's like a bunch of us going down to the playground, never played before, and are trying to learn how to play together. That's what this looks like. And it's sad. That should not be. How long we've been resting players. We've been trying to get guys ready. This, and that. It's like a dumpster fire at this point. And we better come out game 2 like with our asses on fire. Because having 22 points in the first quarter against this team, come on, man. You should have known. Dare them to shoot. They're not a great shooting team. They're a great dribble penetration team. They're great getting to the lane and scoring their points in the paint. Load the paint up. Do what they do to us with Ben Simmons. Dare them to shoot. Now, if the shot's getting down, okay. Play some zone if it's going to change some stuff up. You can't just show them the same look over and over and over and over and over again. Because they're going to be smart enough to figure it out and make adjustments, which they have done. It's just a disgrace. Losing on our home court, 3rd seed going against the 6th seed. You got the whole JoJo incident with being on the phone. That's just blatant disrespect in my opinion. Yeah, Boban is a liability. He's not a great defender. He's not a good shot blocker. He's going to make you adjust shots with his size, but I would have rather had Bolden out there. When you're going small ball like they threw it at us, where was Bolden to be found? Where? The guy had been playing good ball. It's like, and I thought this was going to happen with Jimmy, it's like when Brett sees a guy getting into the flow of things and playing good basketball, he doesn't continue to play him. He takes them out. Why? Why? Bolden earned his minutes. He showed bits and pieces during the regular year. He can stretch the defense. He can stretch the floor. Bring him out. He's a perimeter, he's not like an efficient shooter, but he can knock down a shot. And when your guys are struggling from behind the arc, get fresh bodies in there. Not Jonathan Simmons. Yeah, I mean, he's not a great defender, but he shows some tenacity. He's going to throw your body around. You know, he's going to try to make it difficult. A lot better than TJ and JJ, that's for sure. I mean, one dribble it took for them to get beat on defense. Every guard looks like a freaking Hall of Famer against us, and I'm so tired of seeing it. Because I don't think D'Angelo Russell is all that good. He had a good year this year, but I think he's overrated. But next game against the Nets on Monday, they have a lot to explain to do because we let them hear it with booze tonight. And the 5 Brooklyn fans that were down here at the center, you know, you're acting like you just won the NBA championship. Every shot they made, they were like jumping for joy and screaming. Yeah, I know you guys haven't been relevant since what, the KG era when you gave up 5 unprotected first-round picks for a 38-year-old KG and a 37-year-old the truth, Paul Pierce. You guys are a joke. You want to call the Sixers out all you want. We are still overly betterly talented. We did not show it tonight. They always continue to play down to their competition, and shit better change on Monday. And that's all I got to say about that. Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. I'm losing my voice even more. I'm out, guys. But this was a pathetic showing and not a way to start the playoffs off by the 76ers. Brett Brown, you want to keep your job? You better change shit real quick.